Palm Mute Maniac here. I make King God Castle content. If you like King God Castle content, please like the video and subscribe for... I try to do a video almost every day. We'll see how long I can keep this pace up for. As long as Awesome Piece keeps making updates and good heroes and interesting content, I will continue to make content every day. So, in any case, today... Palm Mute Maniac, by the way. Today... we're going to be, this is the Newbie Series Accessory 4, and today we're going to talk about the next accessory, and that is going to be, where's Dandelion? Hello? Dandelion, where are you? I know you're in here somewhere. We're talking about Steel Set. Steel Set, it's not the most exciting set, however, it's probably the most important set. That's out there right now for sustain. And what Steel Set does is it keeps your guys alive, okay? So plus 300 defense, plus 300% final HP, and plus 15 final defense per tier. Now, I believe that means per tier of hero, opposed to per tier of bracelet. Let me find out. Okay. So in the, I guess, Korean translation, this per tier is misleading. This only goes up 4 times. So it's not 1 through 7. It goes up per star color. So you get additional defense at bronze, then at silver, then at gold, and then at purple mythic. Okay? So it's not plus 15% per, like, going from a tier 1 to a tier 2. It's per star. So that's the translation. If I am wrong, please correct me in the comments. So I'm going to make that assumption. I always try to assume in a conservative way. So it comes down to what does the physical defense actually do mathematically, and that's going to be it's a relatively new mechanic, right? So, if you have a Dandelion at tier, let's say 4, which is 2 silver star, she'll have about 9,000 HP. If she gets hit by an enemy for 9,000 damage, the defense does a direct subtraction against that damage. So if she has 2,800 defense, the way I understand it is that it would go 9,000 damage minus 2,000 whatever, and the remaining health would be X number. I do not believe it's on a percentage, and I will verify that. Okay, I'm a liar. Physical defense reduces the physical damage received by 100% times physical defense divided by 900 plus physical defense. That is really freaking not difficult math, but sort of difficult math. Spell defense reduces spell damage instead of physical damage. If nothing is specified, def stat will provide both physical and spell defense. I'm going to run some math real quick and see if I can break this down into like what 100 defense does to 1,000 damage, and I'll get back to you. Hold on. All right. This is super strange math. Okay? Because there's a percent sign here. So physical defense physical def reduces physical damage received by 100 times physical defense. So let's look at my Dandelion, okay? My Dandelion has 850 physical defense plus 360. So 850 plus 360 plus the set bonus, 300 plus 300 plus a final. So let's call her a tier 4. So plus 30% final. So times 0.3 So plus 15, 10. All right. So we have, without doing anything else, we have 1,963 defense. Okay. So it's saying that physical defense reduces physical damage received by 100 times physical defense. So we're going to take this number. I'm going to put this into a little notepad. I'm a little notepad while her. Okay. So we're going to go times 100. Okay. Divided by 900. All right. So that brings us to 210. Plus the physical defense stat, which we know is this. Percent. Okay? Percent. So it's going to reduce the damage. This is breaking my brain. I'm still wrapping my head around the concept. Why is this a percent? Because if the damage is, let's say, 10,000, and you reduce it by anything over 100 is 0. If I had 10,000 damage and I reduce it by 100%, it's now 0, right? So I think that this percentage is a typo, and I think it's gonna do a flat reduction of 2,181. Let me see if I can verify that. So it's definitely a damage reduction. I think we're missing a piece of the puzzle. I think that there's an adjustable mechanic that's happening. So it's definitely 2,181% reduction, but it's not on the whole damage. The damage is going to get multiplied to some larger number and then reduced by this, and this is going to be calculated down. So I could get this is the way I would figure it out. I would get a tier 2 Dandelion, throw them in front of the bus with no accessories on, look at the damage received, and then throw a 900, and we could calculate it that way. So I think in order for us to truly understand what the steel set does, we kind of have to do that. So let's do it. So we're going to take... Honestly, I don't even think I need a Dandelion. I think I can just have like any hero that doesn't have anything on it. That's a fat chunky person. I don't feel like resetting Dandelion. So let me find... I'm going to pause this, find a hero, and do a test real quick. Alright, so we have a Rosetta. Rosetta has 300 HP. We're going against Chapter 1-1, Goblins Phase 0. We're going to look at the damage the Goblins do. I would suspect it's going to be 100% of the damage. So here is... It don't really matter. I'm not using it. This is fine. So we have a Rosetta. Rosetta has 416 health. These guys do 15 damage. Okay? So hit start. And 15 seems to be the damage, right? Real simple. Real simple. We see the damage hitting her. She's not doing 15 damage. Yeah. So when we see the hit. 15, 15, 15, 15. All right? So let's quit this. Let's retreat. And let's see if we could put a flat 100 defense and see what that does to our Rosetta. So I'm going to look for steel set. And this piece does 160. I'm trying to go for a flat 100 just to kind of have a nice round number. Oh, we need physical defense too, don't we? That's 270. This is 210. This is 120. Okay, 120 is not bad physical defense. So let's do that. So we'll equip that, and we can figure out that math pretty easily. So now Rosetta has 120 physical defense. We're going to go fight that goblin. And let's go see Can that goblin even do any damage? Is it going to be like nothing? And then we'll go fight some other stuff. So let's get back into the game. Let's see what that 15 damage goblin does when we have 120 physical defense on the board. Just going to keep this out of the way. It does 13 damage. Okay, so with Dandelion, we actually, and this is Dandelion with 1,963, what we're seeing is she's getting hit for 5. So these goblins are doing 15 damage, and their damage is being reduced. Their damage is being, all these guys are doing, the 17. 17's the throwers. No, the throwers were doing 15 damage, okay? And it was being reduced by 66%. So we do have a curve. We do have a curve, meaning that there's a bar that's going like this. That's reducing the effectiveness. The more defense you get, the less of a result you get. So at 4,000 physical defense, if we were to do the difference between these two numbers, I'm going to assume. Let me hit pause and do some math real quick. Okay, so here's the math. And I know that this is probably not visible to you, so let me zoom in. Let me zoom in a lot. So, this is how much defense that my Belina has when you do all the math. 1,963. If it's actually probably a little less than that. I'm not 2-star, so it's probably like something like 1863. So let's do 1863. Okay, so that's reducing my damage by 66%, and I'm gonna do it. I'll do another a different enemy to test that theory out. But I'm seeing 66% damage reduction based on the curve. Oh, I did a test off camera with a flat 1,000 got me 42% damage reduction. Based on the curve at 4,000. You're only going to be doing a 73% reduction. So the more defense you stack, the less you get. There's a diminishing return. So let's actually retreat from this, and let's go to. We're going to do goblins again, but we're going to go. Actually, no. Let's do something. Let's do something a little bit more punchy. And I don't even mind if I lose. I don't care if I lose the rounds. I just want to see the damage that gets hit by Dandelion. We'll do this to see some math. Okay, so let's run this. Let's make sure that 66% still is true for physical damage. That guy, I believe, does physical damage. So there's our Dandelion. This guy is doing 196 physical damage. So if our math is correct, it should be 196 times 0.66. So we should be doing 196 minus that. So it should be 196 minus like 120. So it should be something like 76 damage. So let's see. Can he hit? Can he hit us? 74. 74. I was damn close. All right, guys. So that's how this math is working. If I stack now I can't. I'm never going to nullify the damage. But now we know when we're planning our builds, or we're looking at how difficult something is, we know that we can take that damage and reduce it by about 66% if you're in the 2,000 damage range. Now, obviously, the more HP I give Dandelion, if I can get her to tier 4, tier 5, if I can get her to like the mythic tier, we're going to get the other 45% defense. So let's look at that one more time. So let's go back to the Dandelion. Oh, we crashed. That's cool. And we're back. Awesome piece. Please fix the crashes. That's not what I meant to do. So anyway, we are at we're talking about the sets here. So if I could tier this up further, I'll be good to go. Obviously, you'll see that I have 20, 20, 20, 14, and 16 on these. So in order for me to get these, like the chances of me getting more physical defense out of these is pretty low. I know I could probably re-roll my earrings. Like if you saw my first accessory video, I believe earrings can roll defense. Yeah, earrings can roll physical defense. So I probably replace my earrings with physical defense. And I probably try to get a ring with HP. Like that, like two rings with HP is probably what I want. So in like a Dandelion, I probably want earring for Omni slot, earring for earring slot, both one of each defense type. And then my ring slot, I probably want a heart. My bracelet, I could go either way. And then my necklace is most likely going to be spell power. And like that's what I would go for in like a good Dandelion kit for steel set. In side note, in steel set, since we're talking about steel set, they call it Furious set in the chest. This is a bug. This is all steel set. They call it FERROUS accessory selection chest. So these guys got to fix that. It's not even Furious, it's Furious. I guess that's like a bad translation from wherever. But in any case, going back into steel set, it is worth it. Now, I will say this. You have a guy like a Bardry. Let's say I got a Bardry. Where are my Bardrys at? He's right here. I do have steel set on Bardry, but his HP is Garbo. So defense sometimes isn't enough to keep him alive. So like if his HP is like 3,900 and his defense is, let's say 1,000 because I'm doing partial steel set, the biggest burst damage that he's going to be able to hit, to absorb, is going to be about 40% increase. So this times, let's say 44%, right? And it's going to be, yeah, like this will be the reduction that he gets to hit. So plus 3,900. So his biggest hit can be 5,616. If he gets hit with anything bigger than that, he's going to get one shot. Right? So if you're facing the final boss of chapter 14, that guy swings his AoE sword for like 20k. On phase, like, I could be wrong. I believe it's about 20k. Bardry's not going to survive the first hit. Most of your squishies aren't going to survive the first hit, even if you have full steel set on them, because you're just going to you're not going to get it. HP also matters. You would need to tier up your Bardry to have something like 8,000 HP. You might have to throw some armor on him to get him to that point, so that you do armor. Then it's a damage reduction. So the higher the HP, the higher the defense is going to be effective. You follow what I'm saying? It's reducing damage, but your HP is going to play a big part in that, because you're essentially reducing the amount you're going to receive, and obviously if you're healing and all that crap, that matters. So now that is pretty much how steel set works, guys. When you're considering steel set, there's a few different people I would put steel set on. I would do, for any of your Link heroes or support heroes, I'm personally doing a hybrid steel set. So I'm doing like 3 pieces of steel that gets you the additional 300 defense and 30% additional final HP right out of the box, which is really, really solid. And I'm also blending it with Windset. That's what I'm seeing. On my Ophelia, now this is probably not what everybody's doing. Ophelia is, I think, meant for Fear set, which I'll get to in another video. But I find that I can't keep her alive with Fear set on. Maybe I have to build it differently. And I might have to for the Fear test video. Right now I have steel set on her just to keep her alive and use her as a tank. Steel set will not make everybody a tank. If you have low HP, steel set's not going to solve that problem because it's a damage reduction. But steel set will make tanks better tanks. If we go into, I have to kind of talk about this. If we go into normal phase 15 Dragonite invasion, right? If we go into this, the guys are going to be doing like tens of thousands of damage. No matter if you have a low level hero or the hero doesn't have a lot of HP, even if you put a steel set on them, they could still die. It's only going to do a percentage reduction against the damage. There's other mechanics that I'm sure I'm missing that I don't see. There might be thresholds and stuff like that, but going back into steel set, every tank in the game, throw a steel set on them, you're going to have more survivability. There is content like this new content where if you do not have a tank with steel set, you're very likely not going to have a good time. In Strife, if your tanks don't have steel set on, you're not going to have a good time. It's almost a requirement. It's almost a requirement. Now, I will say, again, like if I went to go back to my Dandelion. Let's go back to Dandelion. Just to kind of there's something that I kind of missed talking about. Dandelion, you're in here somewhere, probably. I have this training gummy on her for the 360 defense, right? But then, look at this. This is just something to kind of keep in mind. I have about 850 defense and 960 defense caked in here. So you might think to yourself, well, that's a pretty good deal. Well, this is a basic legacy, so I'm only getting 50% bonuses to my stats. So while this might look attractive, like a good flat high defense, I'm actually better off doing something like this, putting her in a rare legacy. A rare legacy that might have a lower defense. So like hypothetically, putting her into a magic armor, right? Magic armor, I'm sure I have magic armor here somewhere. Hello, magic armor. Don't hide in use. I'm looking for like a high tier magic armor. I'm pausing. I just realized they rolled back magic armor upgrades. So that's sad. Let me quickly transcend a magic armor. Yeah, I haven't been using it, so I haven't been paying attention. So let's tier magic armor up to top. Let's also blitz it out and upgrade it. Yeah. I mean, that's about as good as it's going to get, right? 17, 18, 19, 20. Cool. 10K. They gave me those resources back. I just never used them. So now what you're going to notice is I did get my 300 defense. So I lost defense technically by putting this armor on. I dropped from the training dummy from 360 from training dummy, but all of my accessories are now going from 50% bonus to 100% bonus. So when I go look at my stuff, look, I went from like I think this was like in the 6s or 7s, and this was in like the 8s, and now we're in like the 950s. So just kind of a simple thing. Definitely utilize the rare accessories. They're good. That bonuses you're getting on the legacies, excuse me. Use the rare legacies so that you get double bonus on your accessories. That's going to matter. And now in this case, I'm only getting 300 defense after I receive protection. So I'm going to have to use a Belina. I'm going to have to do something else. If there's another option than magic armor that gives me defense, I'm not sure what. I'm sure there is. It might even be like Veterans Tactical Manual. I believe this gives you a flat reduction. Yeah, flat reduction. Like that might be better. But I'm not going to dive into legacies right now, guys. Oh, Knight's Banner, for example, gives you a flat 300 defense, and it gives you stacking 11% damage taken. So I might even be better off doing Banner. Banner might be better than Magic Armor, right? So in any case, that's something to consider. Steel Set is an absolute requirement for your tanks. Steel Set is a pseudo requirement for any of your squishy support heroes. That's not that you don't want to. You're not going to reliably, worry about damage from them, but you just need them to survive long enough. However, your support heroes, if they have low HP, Steel Set's not going to do much for them because it's a reduction of damage, not a direct subtraction from damage. And as you can see here again in these numbers, there is a diminishing return. Investing anything higher than 2,000 defense, you're really gonna hit a ceiling. I'm going to assume, based on the curve that I'm seeing here, the max is going to be 80% reduction. That's going to be my guess, and my guess is going to be that's going to probably be around 6,000. I can only assume based on the numbers that I can see. I do not have anybody at this number, right? So I think King Noob does. And if King Noob wants to do a test video, Mr. Noob, if you want to do a test video with a 4,000 Fizz defense, throw it on a Dandelion, and then just do the math and show us what the number is, I'd appreciate that, because then we would be able to see this is a guess from me. And this is a guess on the numbers. These numbers are verified. Right? So this is my scale. I can verify these numbers. And of course, I'm going to continue to play, and I'll continue to push these numbers up there. But I think reliably, 66% reduction of damage is pretty damn good. You don't need to work really hard to get a like 1,863 reduction. It's really just a couple days of farming to get that onto a tank. And Steel Set makes it really, really easy. If I were to max out my Steel Set and make my and get my guys mythic, or 5 tier, it would probably be more like 2,300, right? Which would probably reduce me to 70%. The biggest point I want to make here is that 66 is probably going to be your diminishing return. Getting here will be easy, but going from 60 to 80 is going to be very difficult and time consuming, and honestly, probably not worth it. So don't go crazy rolling. I don't think it's going to be worth it. It's never going to be 100%. They're never going to give you a 100% diminish, right? I do want to also bring up one last thing, that this is its own number. So if you were to put your Banner of the Malicious, this math is considered separately. So it would be, let's say you're going to have a 210 damage, and you're going to reduce that by 0.66 because of all your stuff, right? So that 210, you'll subtract this damage. So now you're going to be at roughly 74 damage, right? This 74 is further reduced by this relic. It's going to be, this remainder will then be subtracted by 5%. So if you have this maxed out to 40, it would take this number times 4, and it would be 74 minus 30, roughly. So that would bring you down to 44 damage. So that's how that math will work. If the number is huge, let's say you're fighting some really incredibly strong creature, and it's 10,000 damage per swing. It would be times 6. You would reduce, there would be 3,300 damage remainder coming down on your Dandelion. But then if you had this Banner of Melissa's at 40, it would take that number, and this is like treated like final from what I understand. So this is the final number. So it would go times 0.4 in the reduction, and it would further reduce our 3,330 by 1,320, giving you a balance of 2,000 damage to face. And so that's what that would do. Again, you're never going to get to 0. You're never going to get a 0 damage. You're never going to have an immortal. So everything's going to, all the math is going to stop you from being immortal. And the big numbers, let's say 100,000 damage, you're still going to get smacked in the face for 20,000 damage with all these reductions. So big numbers will still get you. And again, I'm going to be like, assume that I am 69% correct. And there's numbers I don't see. There's assumptions I'm making based on math that I can see. But hopefully, this helps you understand what's going on inside of the steel set. If you have different numbers, if you have corrections or anything, please post them in the comments. And guys, that is my steel set review. It hurts. This is actually easier than the Fear set review is going to be. I'm going to have to do all kinds of crap to find out what's going on with Menace and Fear. So, yeah. Steel set's worth it. Put it on your tanks. Don't think about it too hard. Banner is better than the training dummy, because you get more bonus to your stats that are attached to your stuff. So definitely do that. Hypothetically, there's probably a unique relic that's better than Banner, but I'm too broke for that shit. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.